tying point, you don't want to tie any further than that forward. So if you do, the bead will catch and won't work properly. Then you find your dumbbell eye that you should have had ready. Here it is. Yeah. So offer up the dumbbell eye, come back to about half that. Put your dumbbell eye on, a couple of wraps around, come around the other way, a couple of wraps around. So probably 4 wraps that way, under 4 wraps that way. And to help dumbbell eyes pretty much be unspinnable, first you've got to make sure it's fairly straight. What you do is you get your thread and you go under the dumbbell eye between the shank of the hook. That'll tighten up the ties and it'll actually make your dumbbell eye pretty much indestructible. Then come to your tailing or rostrum material. I use my Selexi fibre, and usually my size 6/0 hook this one is. For the rostrum, you're probably looking about that much is quite good enough. So just snip that off. And measurement wise, you don't need it ultra long, probably maybe from the dumbbell eyes to the hook bend back again. So you just bring your thread up forward, probably do about halfway between the dumbbell eyes and the bend. Offer up your material for the rostrum, just a couple of loose loops, and start tying it down. Tie down towards the dumbbell eyes, doesn't have to be fully closed ties. And then you come back over to just before the bend of the hook. Open doesn't matter really. You can close them up if you want, but you know, it's basically a waste of thread, I think. So we get there, we've got our rostrum tied in. At this stage I like to tie in the feelers. I tend to use a rubber leg that's similar to the colour that the fly is going to end up. So I usually just grab grab 2 of those, tie them loosely on top, come forward a bit, come back. As you get back here, just separate them, bring them to the either side. And it's a pain when the thread wraps around, but yeah, it happens. Moving forward and get them evenly on either side and just wrap your thread up to it. And that's your feelers tied in either side. Next step is to tie in the eyes. Prepare these earlier, usually do like 20 or 30 at a time. These are actually just small brass black bead heads that I've actually put on the nylon and hit with a bit of UV light, and they make a really good eye. Loosely dub the body a bit with some of my secret stash dubbing, which is coming out very soon. It's awesome stuff. It's got a beautiful translucency with lovely flash. I'll call this one Shamrock. So anyway, I'll just grab a little bit of dubbing. Don't need much. Can be a pain to dub sometimes. Just wind it on loose. Doesn't have to be anything pretty. Probably a dubbing loop might be a little bit easier. This dubbing's fairly long, which I should cut down, but yeah. So we just have like a really shaggy body. It doesn't hurt having shaggy because it gives some beautiful movement to the fly. Just run that down. I usually bring it back to about halfway point between the eyes and the bend of the barb to the dumbbell eye. And then I grab some more of the rubber legs. You take 2 for each side. You think sticks when you don't want it to. Right. 2 legs. Put them around your thread. Get them roughly even. Lift them up. Tie them down both together. Do a couple of ties. Then you want to do is spread them apart. And then just wind them a little bit on the side. Doesn't matter because they end up down the bottom anyway. So that's a couple of legs there, and a little bit more body dub. That worked a bit better. I cut it in half. You don't need much more, probably just a little bit more to bring it to there. Do another set of legs. Usually find that the feelers and 2 sets of doubled legs is plenty when I get doubled legs. Drop one. Okay, do the same thing again. Even them up. Doesn't matter if a leg's shorter than the other. Tie it down. Bring it back. Spread them apart. Either side, and then just wind back a little bit over. And that's about the length you want to leave for your wing and your collar. The rotary vise can easily just spin her over, but I haven't, so I just turn the hook upside down and put it back in the vise to start the wing and the collar step. Wing back over, get that little out of the way, bring it back a little bit, chuck a couple of loose loops over, 6 or so, make sure the hook is in the centre of the wing, and then just tie back down that little bit of tag at the front there. And yes, the legs do get in the way a lot. So that's where we get to the stage of the legs and the top wing. Now what we do is prepare for the collar, which what we do is throw a dubbing loop. Just it's a bit hard to show you, I'll do that later on. Put your loop in, wind back, then wind back forward. I find it useful if you put the thread over the front of the dumbbell eye. You need to get your dubbing twister. This is an oldie but a goodie. Put your dubbing twister in. Now the reason put your thread over the eye, you can actually bring the bobbin back and rest it on the back of your vise, which keeps it out of the way normally. So we can do that and just keep that out of the way. Now what we do is grab some secret stash. I cut this at about 60 to 80 mil. Open up your dubbing loop. Open up your dubbing loop. Put your dubbing, your secret stash in. Just give it a couple of turns. And grab another lot. You don't need a lot of this stuff because it's very effective. Yeah, it's just, you don't need much of it. So another piece about so long, so much. And put it in the loop. Bring it up to the other one. And for this fly you wouldn't need much more than that much. And give it a couple more turns. Just grab it with your thumb, give the dubbing twister a spin. I'll have to go through this later on. So once you've spun your dubbing twister up, you just let it go. And look at that, spins your collar up. It's basically like a, what do they call them, those dubbing brush things. They're okay, but I prefer these because you get actually a bit of bulk down below the next to the fly, which actually helps stand up the materials. I usually use a bit of Velcro, but I'll just use the carding brush for now. Dog brush. Just pluck it out a bit. Pluck it out a bit there. And those legs can be a pain. But anyway, once you've plucked your dubbing out like that, get your legs out of the way. You just sit them underneath the hook. Then you just do one turn, and then start stroking back as you go forward. So stroke the material back and wind forward. Stroke it back, wind it forward. And you can just scythe your thread through if you forget to take it off the back of the bobbin, off the back of the vise. Just throw a few loops. Snip off the loop. And we just continue to tie some more loops down. Can do a couple over and under around it, doesn't really matter. Wouldn't be too worried if you get a bit of stuff out the front either. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. So you've almost finished the tying here. What I do is I use a Mattarelli long. They're pretty easy to find. And you just finish it off behind the dumbbell. Oops. About 6 turns. Bring it down. Tighten it up a bit. Then you've got the collar done. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but it will. I usually just grab a lighter. Anything that's out hanging around, just hit it with a lighter and it burns it off. No real need to go crazy with the scissors. You tend to cut more body off than you would with a lighter burnt anyway. Then let's grab my UV light. A bit of UV glue. Place it just above the dumbbell eyes there. Just enough to cement the head. Leave it set, run in a little bit. Once that's done, just grab your UV light, hit it. 10 seconds, it's ready to go. So, yep, that's basically the tying done. And we'll take it out of the vise and start cleaning up, prettying it up a bit. So bring the rostrum down, the wing down to the roster. Sort out the legs a bit. Get them down. And just grab your dog brush again. Brush the collar forward. Blow it back. That brings that into shape. And then you end up with a fly I call the Click Clack. And nice leggy, lots of movement. This secret stash dubbing just moves beautifully. and then when you bring it back in, retrieving it, you can actually hear it clicking through the water. It's quite an amazing fly. I hope you enjoyed that and stuck through with me, and yeah, thanks a lot. I'll see you later.